So here we are, the Epiphany, the great aha moment. I love that understanding of Epiphany, of like coming to our senses, of being able to see as if for the first time, of recognition. And it's interesting to me that in this great love story of Christmas, that the people who see the best are people who are kind of outsiders. One of the things that we say when we all gather together, which we will do again, is no matter who you are or where you are on your journey of faith, not only are you welcome here at St. John's in this community, you are welcome at God's table. We will get to say that again. And when we say that, it is this understanding of saying that all of God's creation is welcome. All of God's creation. And so Epiphany, in some ways, is the celebration of why I can say that each Sunday. That all means all. We welcome all in the name of Christ. It's not just for a few. Because up until the Epiphany, God had been kind of carved out, and let's face it, we still do it, but God had been kind of carved out for just a few people. God's for us and not for them. But the Epiphany wipes that away if we pay attention. If we pay attention to this incredible story of love and faith, it says that God is not just for me, not just for a couple people, but for all of creation. It doesn't just say all of humanity, all of creation. So the animals, the living things, how we care for the earth, this whole understanding of stewardship of creation can come out of this story of the Epiphany, when God is made manifest, a new light that is shining for all people. As we think about the Epiphany and as we say goodbye, thanks be to God, to 2020, and lean into the reality of 2021, I wonder how the Epiphany might help us, because I think I am paying attention differently right now than I was this time last year. This year has caused me to examine my practice of life in a way that I've never had to do before. It has helped me to see my fellow human with, I believe, gentler eyes. I think I'm slower to judge. That doesn't mean I don't. It just means that I might be a little slower. And one of the things that I've noticed over the past month in this Christmas season is I feel like we are paying attention to how to be the church in a different way than we were a year ago. I know that there are always people that want to help. Always. We are a community of helpers. What I have noticed this year is that we have been more attentive to those who might actually need help. And that connection has been made, where the church has been able to be the conduit between somebody who has and somebody who needs, and being able to connect them. That has been a beautiful thing, and I think an epiphany of sorts, of us being able to see anew, see with fresh eyes that which is needed. Ashley Wade was talking about the Christmas story as just this incredible story of faith. And I thought, wow, she is exactly right. The incredible faith that people had to have. Mary and Joseph, the wise men, the shepherds, the innkeeper, maybe even the animals. But this faith, because faith, as we look at it, it's a very important word. It's a huge word. But it's this understanding of a belief in something that we're not so sure about. Because if we're certain, as I like to say, the opposite of faith isn't doubt. The opposite of faith is certainty. Because faith allows there to be room for doubt and wonder. And we're not quite sure, but we need to move. And the other thing that I notice in this story is that the people of faith are active. They're not just waiting around. I hear a lot of times people say, I just wish I had more faith, as if it was something that you could go out and buy. Faith isn't a commodity. Faith is something that it's an action. I don't know how many years ago, but I saw it and we made little bumper stickers here at St. John's and it said faith, verb. And it was a reminder to all of us that our faith isn't something that we put up on the shelf and go, oh, isn't that nice? It's comforting. Faith is active. Faith is Mary saying yes to God as a 13-year-old or whatever young age she was. Faith was Joseph saying, you're pregnant? Really? And continuing the journey. Faith was 3 astrologers looking at a star and saying, I think we need to follow that. I'm not so sure why, but I think we need to go. Faith is shepherds running to a stable saying, we just saw something pretty incredible and you need to hear about it. Faith is this work that we are given to do. And one of the things that I noticed about all of the action and all of the faith that is being practiced in this story is the most inactive reality is God. God is baby. Now, passive or inactive might not be a great description of a baby. We have had babies in our house and they're not passive, but they're dependent. That God is dependent. That it calls us into action. As we think about this year coming up with vaccinations and with still being isolated and with the challenges that we face on kind of getting back to whatever normal life would look like, I think it's very important to think about how we will be active in our faith. The Epiphany, the great aha, a time when God comes as a baby and says, we're all in this together. And this is the crazy part. This is the amazing part. It's sometimes what terrifying part is that God is basically saying, I need you. I need you to be active, an active participant, not just a spectator. That is incredible news. That God not only desires and loves us, but actually needs us to be a part of creation, a part of restoring love, a part of being this community of the beloved. So this day, I invite you to look ahead at 2021, to imagine how you are needed by God. And I ask for you to pray for me and to pray for this community, that we may pay attention, that we may be a community that takes our faith as a verb, and that we will see where we need to be active, to care for each other and to care for this world, and indeed to care for God. Amen.